Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got to look at the new campaign reward ship, Tier 7 French Battleship Champagne. There's the build, Bob Jojo, Kondo, and I think that's Megatron, one of those Transformer guys. He's the German battleship, extends battleship range. We're going to be talking about the build throughout. There's the armor view. First off, I want to start off with the good, the guns. Now you can see the guns in action here. We got 2x3s, 406 caliber, and they rip. All right. Now these are 380s are the norm for the French Tier 7 battleships, 406 caliber. I got range 20 on this. It's 17.7 base. We'll talk about why we need range in a moment here. Reload 25.2, 23.7 turret outstanding values both. Look at the velocity, look at the accuracy, look at the penetration. Everything outstanding. Whacking Bismarcks in the Citadel. So the guns, lots of fun. One of the more fun sets of battleship guns to shoot. The bad, the durability. Now this is a short clip, an example of a game where battleships are parked nose in, and that's when this thing's going to have problems. We're relegated to shooting HE at this Richelieu. Look at the angling we got on the diagram in the bottom there. That's an acceptable angle there, but I think in the next salvo or two we're going to open up to about a 45-degree angle. That's a major mistake in this thing. Every single battleship that you can see can absolutely wreck you, and we're going to see about a third of our health on a non-Citadel shot, just standard deck shots. It's 32 millimeter armor all over, including the deck, and once again, everything will wreck you. And note the HP, 52.6k. That's lower than the Peter at Tier 4. It's lower than half the Tier 5s. It's lower than almost all the Tier 6s, except for the two Warhammer ships, and it's lowest at Tier 7. Only the Monarch is close at 53.9, but of course that has super heals. This thing doesn't. So look at this 45-degree angle. Not bad angling, but not perfect, and wham. And I got another salvo later where the Iowa hits us for another similar shot and almost kills us. I haven't been one shot in this thing yet, but it's not going to surprise me when it happens. Early impressions video, I've played about 10 games. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't won a single game in the ship. Now, some of you guys might be saying to yourselves, see, I told you this guy sucks all along. That's your opinion. You can certainly have that, but I'm finding a lot of difficulty carrying in this thing. Yes, the guns whack for lots of damage, but you need broadside battleships. Cruisers, you need them to be basically steeply angled, because we'll see a couple shots against cruisers here, but I don't know if I've hit a non-overpen on cruisers. That's due to the high velocity, due to the excellent penetration. The shells just aren't inside of those cruisers long enough to actually detonate when they're broadside. So difficult, but my main gripe about this is the effect it has on the teammates. And note we're turning around right away, and we're going to see some bizarre positions. I've seen new parts of the map playing the ship that I didn't even know existed. The ship was initially commissioned by NASA in the 60s as a moon transport vehicle, but Elon Musk and SpaceX have actually bought the rights to this, and now they're flying this thing to Mars. That's how far away you need to be. So that's why we have the 20-kilometer range on this. Again, the guns operate great at range. You're going to see some amazing accuracy. The only wonky accuracy I've really had on this was the first couple games I played in this before I figured out how exactly brittle this thing was. I was getting close and shooting a few 6-kilometer range type shots and hitting like one shell. Most of them were going in the water, so it could have just been bad dice rolls for those particular salvos, but perhaps it's got some sort of reverse dispersion where it gets worse the closer you get in. That one surprised me either. But the positioning and the effect that this ship has on the teammates, you got to understand when to turn around. Now, when you're opening the game and you're trying to figure out how far away the enemy is, what you need to do is look at your position relative to the closest cap. Let's say we're 2 squares down on the map from the center of the cap. Then the enemies are spawning 2 squares above that. So a lot of times you're already going to have them in range or just on the outside of the range. And if that's the case, you need to basically turn around and get into a kiting formation right off the beginning of the match. But the problem psychologically is your teammates are going to see this and they're going to be like, what the heck is going on here? They're going to get frustrated. They're going to abandon you a lot of times. And if you've got Champagnes on your team, you got to understand what it's doing. It has to park on the moon. If it gets close, it's going to get absolutely wrecked. It's got the accuracy to do things from the rear. It's got the mobility to potentially get crossfire positions. So certain games, I've had numerous, 3-4 high caliber type games. I think my highest damage so far was 150, 160k, somewhere in that range. Damage is not the problem as long as the game you're in isn't everyone in battleships drop the anchor and then just zing moonshots at each other the whole game. That, unfortunately, very common at high tiers. In fact, it's more common than not when you're at these type of games. So in that situation, I mean, you still got outstanding accuracy, but you're going to be forced to go into an HE type of a slinging thing. And from the perspective of your team winning the game, that's damn near useless. So unfortunately, just due to the way that this game is currently played and due to how the battleships usually play, which is to get as far away from relevancy as possible, that's going to appeal. This ship is going to appeal to a lot of players that have that play style. But in terms of actually having a major impact on the game, you're going to find it hard. I've had 2 or 3 games where I'm just like, I'm alive till the end of the game or towards the end of the game, but I'm just not feeling like I'm really impacting the game. So you can already see how far back behind our team is, and you guys see me on stream, how frustrated I get when I spot these guys doing this thing. This is nothing. We're going to I'm already too close to the team here. You can see we're only 13.5 kilometers. Way too close. All right, so we got to be steeply angled against these ships. Trying to finish the Bismarck off here, but, he's actually going to get away here, and later in the match, he's going to reemerge with about half his health, I think. So that type of thing's frustrating. Outstanding speed on this thing, 30.6 on my build, and I believe that's actually slowed down with one of the accuracy perks or whatever that I got on JoJo. And note on JoJo, I didn't have Scharnhorst, I didn't have Cunningham, so we're not enhancing the accuracy via the inspirations at all. It's just purely a couple perks on the actual build itself. But, when you saw against the Iowa, steeply angled, we're able to absorb most of those shots. If they're hitting the deck, superstructure, they will do damage. But that Bismarck, he got a return fire. Not catastrophic damage, luckily, but that could have been a lot worse. And we're just forced to continue to back away here. Now, it's going to frustrate my team. I haven't had anyone send me messages yet, but I'm waiting for someone to be like, yo, all you do is talk about moving forward in battleships, and here you are in the back line. What's going on? But I'm going to have teammates later on in this match. The Bismarck's going to be pinging me in frustration, and I feel his pain. But it's actually kind of what you have to do in this thing. And in terms of what it can do, which is hit these nice, accurate, high-velocity, potentially high-damage shots, it's kind of doing what it's supposed to be doing here. But again, psychologically, your team is going to see what you're doing. They're going to say to themselves, I ain't pushing forward. Look at that guy. He's all the way back there. He's 3 squares back on the map. Why should I push into this, And again, I've seen this directly in action. Teammates actually responding to what you're doing, just getting frustrated, getting on the comms, the radio, pinging the radio and saying, yo, help, get relevant, do whatever. This ship is causing frustration. Again, nobody knows what to expect out of this yet, but it's still going to cause frustration. And I'm not looking forward to right when this campaign ends and there's 5 of these per team, because half of them will die in the first 30 seconds and the other half will be so far back that they're gonna have a hard time kind of doing their job. So what you need to be doing when you're playing this is actively looking on the map, looking for those broadside battleships. We're trying to take the Iowa out here. We got Champagne following him. We've controlled 2 caps in this game so far. Now we're down a ship, but the situation is decent. I got a Bismarck directly to the northeast of me. He's kiting away as well, and that definitely could be he's going to be the one that's getting frustrated with me. He might be doing what he's doing in response to what I'm doing, saying, okay, this guy's not supporting me. Look at how far back he is. If I see battleships in my position in most games, I get pretty dang frustrated, and a lot of times I'll just turn the game off if that's the type of play that I'm seeing. But again, this is, in terms of what this ship can do, this is effective at what it does. I don't have a problem with the ship, a ship like this existing in this type of role. I just worry that most players are they're gonna have a hard time. And look at that broadside shot there. That could have easily been a one shot. You cannot make those angling errors. I was taking a risk trying to get the Champagne either dev struck because I knew how susceptibility was to damage, or at least whittled down enough where these other guys could, finish him off with ease. I'm getting a little frustrated with the battleship, but again, the Bismarck, I can't blame him though, because I think he's actually reacting to me. He needs to be pushing into this. We need to hold B, and we need to wipe these guys off. And I need to just continue to go as far south and as far west as I can. I'll be able to strike the entire red team that's relevant in terms of their positioning. But a lot of people on our team, they're just never going to recognize this. So here we're going to wind up on the border. You guys see me play the border once in a while with cruisers in particular. But battleships, what you need to understand how the border works. It cuts your engine power way down, and the longer you're on there, the more it kind of dips into negative. And there he is. He's getting frustrated on the comms with me. Once again, I don't blame him. It's just kind of a lack of understanding of what I'm capable of doing and what I'm trying to do. But getting back to the border, you can't, on a battleship, try and do the Tbull shuffle, as some of you guys call it, on the border, because your engine power will dip so far down. And then I got two possibilities. Either I'm going to get stuck there with one turret in a firing position, or I'm going to get stuck 45-degree angle or worse. And he's just going to whack me for the rest of my HP in one or two salvos. So, I'm not opposed, again, to the position that I'm in terms of what we can do. We're perfectly capable with firing these long-range guns, these accurate salvos at long range. But my ability to affect the match from down here, you can see they're on B, they're on C, and the Massachusetts just pushes me down here, pushes into me. This is a great play. I don't know if he knows anything about the ship, probably not, but pushing into this thing, getting them away from the action, perfectly great way to counter this thing. And so I'm going to be forced to turn into him here. We'll see my nose absorb one shot when I'm well angled to him, but in general, the closer I get to anything advantage the other battleship. I really can't think of a single I've gotten wrecked by New Mexico's and failed platoons in another game just because I was forced to get into a central position trying to save the game at the end, and the New Mexico was able to just wreck me once he got quasi crossfire position on me. So from this survivability, this thing is just not that easy to play. I don't think this is going to be an easy ship for Johnny Potato to play, but I think Johnny Potato is going to gravitate towards this because accurate guns, high velocity guns, easy to hit targets, moonshots, good results, capable of citadeling Bismarcks, capable of citadeling any battleship you're going to run across, even at bizarre angles from occasions. The guns absolutely rock. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. This thing is a lot of fun to shoot, but I can't win a game in it. And I think I'm a semi-decent player. I'm not looking forward to the time where everyone's in these things. You're just average or below average battleship players. I think they're not going to have the effect on the game that we really need. If you had like one champagne on your ship and people understood and allowed it to do what it is capable of doing without reacting to it and getting frustrated and kind of having it influence their behavior, then I think it would actually be an effective ship. Like if you're in a division with players that understand what you're trying to do and what you're capable of doing, I think that's all right. Here we're in desperation mode. We're down two ships. That Tier 6 Brit, whatever the heck the thing is called, it's whittling me down. There's nothing I can do. I'm trying to one-shot the Massachusetts. I can't even think of my Fiji, one of my favorite ships in the game. That's how frustrating this thing is to play and to commentate over. I never wanted to prescribe a max range battleship, but nonetheless, that's what you got to do in this thing. So anyway, that's a look at the Champagne for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, well, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. If you got questions or comments, let me know what you think below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.